Good morning, Story Shapers, and welcome to day 2 of your project work on this first summative assessment. I've got some more tips from you today, and also, as you may have noticed, the powers that be have sent along Squealer to make sure that I stay on political message. If there are any instructions that are unclear, he'll be sure to change them overnight to make sure they make perfect sense in the morning. Tip number 1, make a plan. Have you done this? If you haven't, you probably should have. I've given you 4 to 5 days of work on a rather large project involving multiple requirements, multiple group members, and a lot of freedom for creativity. I think it's important that you take a few minutes today, on day 2, if you didn't on day 1, to lay out your plans for what you hope to accomplish with each day of work. This is a really good way for you to gauge your progress as we move through an entire week of project work. And it's also a good way for you to have a sort of a system of yellow and red flags available in case you fall behind on any of your work. Tip number 2, think big but start small. Have the grandest of plans for your finished design, but make sure you're starting with manageable, simple bites. For instance, I wouldn't go straight to your large final graph and try and plot your stories without any pre-work. I think it would be important to try and visualize your story shapes on smaller paper, sort of as a rough draft approach before you finally put them on the grid. Also, make sure that you're constantly double checking those requirements on the back of your assignment sheet for the A level to make sure that you're doing everything, especially with regards to the graph, that is required for you to get full credit. Finally, I think it's important for you to ask questions. If your group has not yet asked me a single question through one whole day of work, I'm concerned that you might be making some decisions that will be suboptimal or take you off of the plan, the charted course as it were. I've deliberately left the instructions somewhat vague and open-ended to require you to either make personal decisions or come chat with me about your ideas for different approaches. I'm happy to tell you if I think something is a good idea, if I think it's a challenging choice that's going to give you trouble, if I think it's a little too simplistic. I also would love to hear your initial thoughts about the stories that you're choosing and how you think their shapes might show some important contrasts or similarities through our comparison with these graphs. So please make sure you're reaching out to me during these work days to check in, get feedback, and also maybe to problem solve as your group runs into the inevitable snags. What's that, Squealer? Squealer says Napoleon needs me in the main house. So I'm going to head that way. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good day.